and welcome to another episode of Lee Street Beat. I'm Sandra along with T the Man, and hopefully S Hacker will join us a little later. We got a serious matter that we want to talk about here at the beginning of the show. It happened in Aurora, Colorado. The shooting death of Bronze Star, Purple Heart recipient, and Citadel graduate Richard Gary Black. He was 73 years old, and he was shot by the police. He had shot Dejon Harper, who was an intruder in the house who had assaulted his 11-year-old grandson. T the Man, when you heard this story, and you know your sister lives in Colorado too, I mean, how did it affect you?
I found out this was just bizarre. This is a bizarre killing. You have a man who intruded in someone's house. The homeowner goes and kills him, and the police come and kill the homeowner. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, there are other occupants inside the house. He has a son, and the son wakes up to find the man who was killed, his mother standing over him and talking about his son is on drugs. I mean, they're sleeping that sound, or they're passed out that you don't know who's coming in and out of your house. And that you got a strange woman at 1 o'clock in the morning standing over you talking about my son is on drugs, and he's in the bathtub with your son naked.
It was his grandson.
Well, it was the owner's grandson, but the owner's son was there. He was there. Yeah. And he's the one that woke up, and then they woke up the father, then the Mr. Black's wife called the police saying that their name is Black, but they're white and their assailant is Black. So it was a lot of confusion there. I can see how this happened, but the police officer, they said that, well, they gave a command for him to drop the gun and that his hearing wasn't good. The son is saying, well, they never heard the command. I can understand why they didn't hear the command. Everybody hollering, shouting, screaming, crying.
And they said that Mr. Black did have some hearing issues.
Right. Well, the son didn't have no hearing issues, and he was behind him, and he said he didn't hear it. So the police, they're going to try to cover this up and limit their liability. The officer that shot Mr. Black, he's the only one that fired. There's other officers, but he's the only one that shot. And I guess, he thought he was doing the right thing, putting down a bad person, but he put down a good person because the bad person was already put down by Mr. Black.
And it also goes to say that the police officer was the only police officer who did shoot, and he was involved in a shooting just this past June. So here it is in August, and he's involved in another shooting, and it just I don't know. I think if we research some of it, it sounds like they might have just shot through the door. Things are still sketchy about what happened. I mean, this man is...
Well, they said he didn't put down the thing, and it was dark outside. Mr. Black had a flashlight. He opens the door, and he's trying to see the police, and I'm quite sure he's got the gun in his hand, and he's opening the door with a flashlight in one. I'm quite sure he's not pointing at them. Maybe he was, whatever it is. The officer fired. He didn't ask no questions. He fired, and maybe while he was shooting, he was saying, "I'll put the gun down." So he definitely saw him as a threat. There wasn't big communication on him. Part of that might be due to the dispatch. I don't know if they told the police dispatcher that he had a gun. That added to the confusion. So it's just a tragic situation for that family. I mean, very, very tragic. Their father, who they love very much, who actually saved them from harm. But
he's a hero.
Yeah, he's a hero. And he got killed through police action. And then you got I don't want to go and say the cop was trigger happy, but put it like this. He had time enough to make an informed decision, and he chose to shoot. And it's 1:30 at night. And then I guess he didn't want to second guess himself because he'd done it before. He's kind of like the dog that bit, and he's ready to bite again. So that's how I put it.
And it goes without saying, too, that this intruder, Dejon Harper, was, buck naked and had his grandson in the bathroom, buck naked, fighting him, biting his ear. He comes in there, sees his grandson naked with this naked man fighting and biting his ear. I mean, there's no worse way to wake up. There's no, I mean, and then, you know, the mother saying, hey, my son is in here assaulting your grandson. I mean, it was just a horrible, horrible story. I hope that the family receives some kind of relief, knowing that their father, their grandfather died a hero. I mean, he was a Citadel, you know, graduate, a Bronze Star, Purple Heart. I mean, it sounds like somebody who we really gonna miss, you know, and that just died unnecessarily.
He did, and it's through no fault of his own. He did all the right things, and he still lost his life. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you rectify a situation like this, because this could happen to any police officer or any homeowner, and that's part of the problem. You're a homeowner. You're inside your house. The police come. And of course, you're saying, this is my home. Why are they there? I committed no crime. And then they come because they're trained like, oh, everybody that you answer, he might be the criminal. You got to put him down. It's part of the training mentality. There's no national standard for police mentality. So, I think that needs to be looked at in the future, because every department has their policies, and the policies vary, and they're there to serve the public. They're not there to harm and maim the public. They're not there to kill the innocent. And it's just like the hostage situation in Trader Joe's in California. The woman that was killed with a police bullet. So, I don't know. They go to the range, they train, and obviously they still can't shoot straight.
They can't. They absolutely can't. I think all of us, when we saw that story, we just realized, we really wanted to talk about that, and we'll continue to follow it, and hopefully the family will get together with the police and they can figure out, who needs to be sued and for how much. So that takes us to Mr. Paul Manafort. He's on trial, and it seems like 45 has called a couple of days ago for attorney Jeff Sessions, who is recused himself, to stop the investigation. Of course, he's done this on a Twitter tirade. A lot of people are looking at this as obstruction of justice. They're also saying that this is also witness tampering, because the jury for the Paul Manafort trial, they're not sequestered. Granted, they are supposed to, not engage in looking at any kind of news, but by and large, I'm sure that a lot of the jurors will do that, but they do know that there's a small percentage who just ain't gonna do it. They're gonna jump right in their car. They're gonna do the normal things they do. They're gonna check their email. Stuff is gonna fly up on their phone, and you know what? They may hear President Trump saying that he thinks that the investigation should be stopped. I think it's witness tampering. What you think?
You know what it is, witness tampering. Trump is trying to influence the jury. What Trump is looking for is to get Manafort.
Oh wow, he's done. He's done. Once, to me, I think once that Gates person who's already pled guilty testifies, who was his right-hand man, because again, his defense is blaming it all on the guy who's already pleaded guilty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, how is that going to work when the guy's already told the feds everything he knows? And it was good enough that he is still out and not in prison. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I understand that, but Paul Manafort and his defense team feel that he can see doubt, and that he can get a hung jury. Gates pleaded, I'd rather take chances on 12 than take chance on one, and that's what Paul Manafort is doing. He just needs one person to get a hung jury. He got 18 counts against him. Mueller only needs one count. He needs one unanimous count out of 18. And this is a paper case, the paper.
Right.
Unless you have some kind of jury nullification, Paul Manafort is guilty.
And then
and then he has another trial coming up.
Exactly, the different jurisdiction altogether.
Right.
Altogether, Yeah.
Miles before he sleep.
Yeah, miles before he sleeps.
Yeah.
And again, he's just worried. That's why he's not in, he was under house arrest. and uh, and he they took his bond away because of jury tampering.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
well, yeah.
he's
Paul Manafort was contacting other jurors. He was
Mm-hmm.
sending messages up to Dropbox, gave them the password so they can go to
Mm-hmm.
Dropbox, read the
Mm-hmm.
message. But they were smart enough to go and tell Bob Mueller what was going on, and Bob Mueller locked him up in jail. So now when he walks in there with that $1,000 suit that he got on, it may be another 10 years before he get it, you know. But I mean, he's
man,
Exactly.
them suits more than $1,000, dog.
yeah, well, whatever, you know. I mean, he gonna be buff when he come out for a 80-year-old man if he goes,
Yeah,
you
if
know.
he makes it out, again, you don't. He's allegedly doing something with the Russians, so that's a whole different thing. There's no guarantee
Well, you
of
know
that.
what? It depends on
You
what jail
know,
they send him to. Um,
yeah.
federal prison ain't just like state prison. If they want you
Mhm.
isolated, you stay isolated.
Right.
Safe, you stay safe. Um, and so listen. He may be in Kansas and Leavenworth, or down here in Menard in Illinois.
Mhm.
And I know they got a few more prisons. I mean, because where he won't be is at the country club up in Wisconsin.
In his
That's where
ostrich jacket.
yeah.
you know.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
He
those.
got he had some other I think it's some kind of snake jacket, a python jacket as well. I
Oh
mean,
wow,
just
wow.
really, working the animals.
Oh yeah.
hey, is there a way we can contact him? Because you know what, some of that stuff he got kind of nice. He ain't gonna be able to wear it no more. You know,
That
His,
might
his
be.
wife
and he
may
got a
have
nice
his wife may
movie
have a estate sale,
Yeah, or the federal government might have one for her.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And one of the jackets, I forget who the designer is. I think it's Bajan, and it has 4 p.m. on the back of the jacket. It's like,
Mm.
also you got your initials on the back of it. I think
I mean,
that's
yeah,
the
if you make it 60 million for the Ukraine, under the guise, under the guise of the Ukraine, it's really Russian money. Yeah, you can afford an ostrich jacket or two.
yeah.
yeah. Shame on him. Shame on him.
You know.
Um, yeah, I agree with you, Tita man. I think Rick Gates, they were, they were thinking maybe he won't testify, but he is going to testify. And
Oh
the
yeah.
things that Gates will testify to, I'm sure he has some kind of paper trail to collaborate with.
Hmm.
I think Donald Trump wants to muddy the waters and wants to
Hmm.
make it seem as though, he wants to, confuse the jury. But I got a feeling that that's not even going to nearly happen. I think that
Oh
the
no.
and the trial is not that long. They say, well, jurors they'll get tired of it because it's
Mhm. Right.
paper story, and I don't think that they'll be tired of it because it's only gonna be 3 weeks. I think the information is gonna be right there
Hmm.
in front of them, and I think they'll be able to make a sound decision.
Yeah, not only
Exactly.
that, they're talking about his bookkeepers up there and how he had like 2 sets of books when he's asking for a loan.
Exactly.
Um,
She didn't know
Inflating
nothing
it.
about that. She didn't know nothing about the real money. She
Exactly.
said you were broke when she did.
Exactly. You were in the negative when she did it, but when he did it, oh, he was in the multiple millions in the black.
well, he actually told the truth. When you got that Ukraine millions coming in, yeah.
Yeah. But again, and again, he has so many, I think over 50 counts outside of the United States, where he was, and that's the paper trail they're getting him on. He was paying the gardener out of this Cayman account, he was paying, and they have all those, and he was inflating the amount that they were being paid, trying to wash that money.
Yeah.
And they kept those receipts,
Well, they have to, especially
you
because none of
know.
these people are used to getting paid the way they were getting paid. And they have money
Exactly.
wire transfers, like, you know,
Exactly.
it was crazy. Yeah,
You
shame on
know.
him. Shame on him.
Oh, he feels no shame. He just feels like, man, how did I get caught?
He's sorry he got caught.
That's the shame.
Yeah, because I think he's been put up with this before, but he's gotten
Mm,
off. But I think that there's way too much information, and I don't think that he was being pursued by somebody like Robert Mueller, who really does know how to deal with people like him who like to take money, hide it. They follow the
uh,
money. This
yeah,
is
because that's where you get caught. Again, that's the thing about a successful crime, right? Is what do you do with the ill-gotten gains? How do you make it legal? And that's where most people get caught. It's like these people years ago, they had successfully robbed a Brinks truck, right? They moved from the trailer park to the suburbs in a weekend. Bought
Yeah.
high-end motorcycles, bought everything. And again, had it not been for that sudden rush of money and their sudden change in lifestyle,
They should have went and got them a 3-bedroom apartment.
they should have stayed in that trailer park.
They could have upgraded real slow.
You know, I'm talking inchworm slow.
You know, I'm
No,
talking.
over in 48 hours, they were just,
They should have still been in the neighborhood that they was at. You know what I'm saying?
again, still drinking, whatever they were drinking before all that occurred, But, it's that rush. And again, 60 million, how do you, wash 60 million?
I don't know.
I don't know. Just give it to me and I'll show you how to ball.
All right, they're going to catch you too.
Hey, ain't got the
No.
I'll show you how to ball.
Maybe Paul Manafort should just changed his citizenship and became a Ukrainian citizen or a Russian citizen. He can live lavish there. He'll still have his Mercedes, his house. He can come and visit his family in Cyprus and Greece, all the exotic places in the world. He wouldn't be dealing with U.S. law.
But then he would have been no good to them, They needed a cover man, and he was the perfect cover man because he was a United States citizen.
Yeah, I wonder. I haven't seen his wife. I wonder, would she be, supportive of maybe have gone to the Ukraine? I don't see his wife, and I know he has a couple of daughters too, because I remember early on reports of the daughters texting each other, telling each other that that's blood money Daddy gave you, and so
Right.
and
one of the daughters was married to a Russian.
yeah, she might still be.
No, they got divorced.
Oh, they got divorced.
He brought him in on some kind of business deal, and of course Mueller indicted him too. Listen, Mueller's like a bloodhound sniffing for Russians, and he's finding them. You know how those dogs go for truffles? Well, Mueller is a Trump truffle hunter.
And again, he's really not hunting. He's just hunting for the truth.
Yeah.
And the truth is that, and again, when they came out this week talking about collusion is not a crime, did you see those headlines?
Yeah, we did. We saw them. We saw that collusion is not a crime.
It's called conspiracy. And they know that they want to play simile. They want to play with words. But I tell you something, Mueller ain't playing with words. He's not playing with words at all. He's like he's doing law.
Exactly, which is what our justice system is supposed to do.
And Rudy Giuliani's an idiot.
No, he's just a paid clown. That's all he is.
No, but he's actually losing his mind. I think he's actually losing his damn mind.
I think he lost it a long time ago, if you really want my opinion.
Yeah, okay. But you know what? Speaking of people who lost their mind, what about this white woman in Minnesota that got punched in the mouth?
Oh, man. And she said, I didn't do anything. Yeah, you did. You got punched in the mouth for being rude. You
can't walk through no protest and grab nobody's protest.
Son, and tear it up. She tried to tear it up.
Man, and she got a mouth. Okay.
I read the article. The article said her lips were too thin for that fish sandwich she received.
The article was awesome.
I was weak.
Oh yeah, she was. Lips are too thin for the fish sandwich. And she ran back to the cop. You know what? When she ran back to the cop and she was crying, I saw the video. I felt sorry for her. I don't
really.
I did. I had a little pity for her because I just know that, she's part of that percentage. They don't have the intellect to reason that there's certain things you don't do in the crowd. You don't mess with a black woman's hair. And another thing, you don't mess with protesters and they sign. That's
I
a
mean, but she might have got the same thing if she had walked up to some white supremacists that were protesting and she was against them. You know, people
Exactly.
protesting because they're upset. You don't go in there and mess with these people. It doesn't matter
No.
what, if you're disagreeing with them, you need to stay up out their crowd. I can tell you that.
All that. You need to be at home where she should have been.
and if you're gonna go there, don't go by yourself. You know you ain't Wonder Woman.
Oh, she thought she was.
You know?
Again, I don't know what she had prior to that incident occurring, but I never want to have it. Because again, I don't want a fish sandwich.
Yeah.
Man, I
girl
was
gave it a
weak.
1-2, and then she had to be held back because and
Man, she was about to get
like she held
stomped.
back real gently, because she's
No.
gonna go in there a little bit harder,
Oh yeah, she's about to get stomped.
Yeah, she got.
Oh,
Hey, check it.
Yeah, they were holding her back, because
Mhm.
that toothpiece to the mouth.
Yep. It was like pow.
1-2.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did. And you
Yeah.
thought you were more than what you really were.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about your favorite person, Ivanka Trump.
I'm gonna tell you
Well,
something.
people
Ivanka
could go
Trump is
stuff.
supposed to be a champion for women. She's supposed to be a champion for the kids. She comes out and says that they ask her, does she think that the press is the enemy of the people? And she's all coy. And she's like, no. Did you want me to say something else? You know that your father has done nothing but say every day, all day, that the media is against the people, and that he's been touting this for the last, I don't know, 18, 19 months. Did he start it before the election or before he was running? But whenever he started this whole fake news thing. And I just want to say the hypocrisy of her trying to take that stance, and for people to actually try to believe that, it's just mind blowing, because she's a damn lie. Her dad is out here saying one thing, she's out here saying another. She's not, out there trying to help these children that are still, for the, in Trump detention camps. She's not. She said that was a low point for her. How low was it? Did you go in there and tell your daddy that he was the one that was low? Did you go and tell him that his policy was low? It was low for you. What did you do? You did nothing. Here we got a 6-year-old girl raped in one of these detention centers by one of the other kids, and they tell her at 6 years old that you're going to be responsible to keep yourself away from the teenage boy who sexually assaulted you. Really? Ivanka Trump, man, I'm so done with her. She needs to leave Washington. Her and Jared.
Yeah, because again, he's faded and nobody's heard from him. It's like, where's Waldo? Where's Jared? We hadn't heard about him, his movements in a month or two.
Jared is somewhere trying to get some more money. That's what Jared is doing. He's following his family tradition. They're about money. They don't care who they go. They only want peace somewhere if they can get a piece of the action. So that's it. Ivanka Trump, she has kids. Jared has kids. You should have some empathy for other children. These children are locked up. The same thing that these administrative judges and put these kids on trial at 3 years old, don't speak the language, and asking them to plead guilty. I mean, it's a thing that the ALCU is involved. A 3-year-old doesn't have the capacity to understand. It can't make a contract. It doesn't have the capacity of knowing right from wrong. But yet you're going to put them on trial? What kind of farce is that? That's that kangaroo court stuff. That's not Nazi Germany. Trump is all about that. He saw all this so-called law and order. It needs to change. This cultural change, and this 34% of his so-called base. Hillary was right when she called them deplorables. They're deplorable.
Exactly. She was.
They're deplorable in the things that they do. This election coming up is a big one. It needs to be handled. He needs to be handled. And you know what? The Republicans are going out there, they're saying that, if the you know, if they win and this blue wave come, they're going to impeach the president the day after they get sworn in. You know what? They need to. Because obviously they don't have the fortitude, the guts, or the courage to do what's right. And what they say, evil always can persist when good men do nothing.
Absolutely.
Good
men are silent.
Yep, that's it. You know, they're not doing it. So, you know, it's tragic for these kids, you know, and I just say, help these organizations that are helping these kids. Not, you know, so not these organizations that are become the privatized prisons, but the ones that are doing humane work for them. You know, so that's what we need to do. And also, speaking of rapes, Tiffany Haddish came out in a Me Too movement and talked about what happened to her when she was 17 years old. And she was raped by a police cadet, and she said it affected her for years. She had to get counseling and everything. So, you know, this can happen to anybody, if you're famous or not, young or old, male or female.
Exactly.
You know, this is, I mean, a problem in our society that we need to address, and we need to fix it. You know, we need to fix it. This is not a Romeo Juliet thing where you got a 18-year-old boy and a 16-year-old, you know, and they're both in high school. You know, this is people are violently just attacking folks and assaulting them. So, yeah. Also, I kind of wanted to say, I got a call the other day on our business line.
On the Lee Street Beat business line.
On the Lee Street Beat business line, and his name was Horton Man. Horton Man, I'm gonna give a shout out to you because I hope you tune in to Lee Street Beat to know what all's going on. I'm gonna tell people all about our conversation that I had with you. He asked me, was my name Roberto Maez? Something like that. I think he mispronounced it. I mean, he's trying to say Marquez or something like that. And I said, no, I'm not. And he says, and he kept on talking, and I said, I'm not Roberto. He said, sir, I'm here to help you. I've heard these things before. I'm here to help you, and I can save you money. So, you know, I said, well, okay, you know what? He ain't gonna listen to my no because maybe he think I'm black, and he's gonna be pushy. So I said, okay, what do you got to say? So he says, I am from Asset Recoveries, Inc., and that you owe $23.79 and 13 cents, and I'm gonna help you save some money. So I said, you're gonna help me save some money? How are you gonna help me save some money? So he says, I'm gonna put you on a payment plan. What do you call it? It was he didn't call it a garnishment. He called it a deduction savings plan. That's how he put it. You know, real trying to be fancy. No, this is just a deduction savings plan. You'll never know that when it's taken from you, you won't even know it. I said, okay. He said, where do you work at? I said, well, I volunteer at Lee Street Beat.
Already. So, you
now,
know.
Volunteer should have clicked with them, but you know, he's in that 33%, you know.
That plan ain't gonna work based on your employment right there.
Exactly.
So,
or lack thereof.
Volunteer to them means that you get paid. So anyway, you know, he says, he said, I need some information from you. I need your birthday. I said, my birthday is 4/31/67. He said, okay, and I need the correct spelling in your name. I said, Roberto, Roberto. Maez, that's capital M, small y, capital Azz. He said, all right. He said, where were you born, Roberto? I said, I was born in Alpha Centauri. He said, can you spell that for me? I say, ALPHACENTAURI. He said, okay. He said, where's that at? I said, that's in the Nubia. He said, Nubia? He said, I never heard of that. I said, well, you know, when you see that map, when you're in space and you see that map of Africa, and you look down and you see the West Coast, it's not on the coast, but kind of inside down, but as you go down by South Africa, it's somewhere in there. I said, I've never been there. You know, they brought me there when I was a kid. He said, oh, yeah, well, you should try to go back. I said, yeah. I said, it'll be a long ride to get there, but I'll try. So he says to me, he says, okay. He says, well, we're going to tape. $50 a week. I said,
Mhm.
okay, $50 a week. Now, granted, I had told this man that I volunteer. I don't have $50 a week. So
Mhm.
he says to me, he says, who is your boss? Because we got to set it up with the payroll people and to have it out. I said, payroll is done by ADP. That's okay. He says, I just need to know your supervisor's name so we can set it up. I said, my supervisor's name is Milo Derman Shepherd. That's MILODERMAN Shepherd, common spelling. He said, okay.
Tyndale had a dog named Milo.
Yeah, my dog name was Milo, and Milo was a German Shepherd. But you know,
Okay.
I use the Ebonics on him. I call him a German Shepherd. Instead of a German Shepherd. And so he said, I need your address. I said, 945 McDaniel, Lakeland, Florida, 42617. I have no idea where that's at. I never lived there. And so he asked me for my number. He said, I need a number that I can contact you at. I said, well, other than this number, you know, I got my work number. He said, give me that. I said, it's 815-459-4240. I don't know who number that is. All from a man asking you about 23.79 and 13 cents. I know that. So then he said, and one more thing. He said, Mr. Myers, he says, we need a next of kin that is not living with you. I said, well, I got a half brother. His name is, I said, we're not really talking. We're on good terms. He said, his name is Nate Turner. That's my half brother.
Nate Turner.
No, it did. Give
He
me
said,
that wonderful.
well, okay, sir, we'll be contacting you soon. And you have a good day. I said, you too. Now, I just want to say, he called me us on our work number at Lee Street Beat. He put in the wrong area code. I believe he put in the wrong area code. I think he wanted maybe an 844 area code. You know, but when but just in case he does call back, I blocked him.
Okay.
Just to let you know, sometimes T the man, they will call you because they got a lot of different dedicated lines. They'll just keep calling you from different dedicated.
Yeah,
well, you calling different dedicated
you have to block a lot.
I got 500 blocks, so they're gonna be dedicating. So,
That is funny.
But anyway, yeah, we have.
You had a little fun with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when they don't listen to you, you just go with it. You just like, okay, I'm just gonna make it because you ain't listening.
My home, you have on my home phone and people calling me and am I Javier? No, I'm not Javier. You're not Javier Gonzalez. No, I'm not Javier Gonzalez. Oh, well, we trying to speak to Javier Gonzalez. Can you give us take a message for him? I don't know Javier. I'm not Javier. I don't know who he is. I just got this number because Spectrum gave me this number, and it's the number somebody else didn't want because y'all were calling them. So, but that's it. We have so many serious issues in this country, and we Lee Street Beat is trying to do our best to inform people about these charlatans that are out there. They come in wolves' clothing. Sometimes they look like us, but they're not for us. And we just got to be diligent and stay on guard and call them out when we see them.
Exactly.
So.
It's like we had a case here. It's a guy named Oliver Robertson. He was a state representative, right? And this law firm paid him to lie to these people whose soil had been contaminated, right? And he was telling them that not to listen to the EPA and not to do this and not to do that. And all along, it found out that everything he said, he was being paid to say, right? So the feds could, he pleaded guilty, and they, maybe 2 weeks ago, they finally convicted the 2 attorneys who set it all up.
Wow. Yeah. Good on him.
The 2 white attorneys who set it all up. I was like, okay. Yeah, but again, it's still sad that all the damage that they've done. Again, these are cancer-causing contaminants.
Oh, yeah.
and they were trying to get on a Superfund site.
Hmm.
And one of the clients, Drummond Coal Company, didn't want this multi-million-dollar expense of cleaning it up. So they paid Oliver Robinson less than $1 million.
To just go lie about it.
Exactly.
Shame on them.
Exactly.
Shame on them.
Yeah, and again, to this day, that soil is still contaminated.
Wow. Well, you know what? We've had a lot to unpack this show. T the Man, Weekends here, S Hacker, the Weekends here. Hey, I'm gonna be busy doing some stuff. I'm going to the Black Women's Film making. I guess it's a meet and greet event on Saturday, and I'll also be going to Purpose in My Bag to spend a little time with them there. She's celebrating Melinda Evans is celebrating her 1 year anniversary.
Oh, so wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be shouting them out next week, but we got to get out of here.
Okay. Next week, Lee Street Beat is gonna take a little bit of a break because we're gonna go live the following week. I'll be out of town. Sandra is doing stuff on the weekend, so it's gonna be kind of hectic to coordinate everything. If we can, we'll put up a new video. If not, we'll be live on the 17th. Was it 17th, Sandra?
18th.
18th of August. Yeah. We'll go live, and we'll give you instructions on how to call in. And so we'll give you those instructions after the week of the 15th. You know how to call in, and you can chat with us and ask us any kind of questions. And I also want to say one more thing. Sometimes we look at the comments, and normally we don't reply, but if we find one that we feel that we have to address, we will. And we do have a few trolls out there who wants to fact check us about certain things if they listen carefully. I'm quite aware that the Spanish and indigenous people were here before Letitia Jones. Somebody want to tell me that. I think they didn't listen to me. So I just want to reach out to that person. If you're listening, I realize that they were here before African slaves. So I don't need a history lesson. I've done very well in history. With that being said, I'd like to say to everybody, have a good week. Stay safe.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. And
get us at LeeStreetBeat.com.
Yep. .com. And you can see us on our YouTube channel, Lee Street Beat
Podcast.
That's right. Yeah. So until then, talk to you later. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Peace out.